4, 3, 2, 1,
and go.
now. All right,
All
cool.
right.
So this is the beginning.
So here's episode 1.
Of surely
welcome
many to
to-
come, and not like none ever being made again.
Yeah, it's not like that's happened before with us.
No.
Ever.
You can't
We've never
prove
done
it.
that.
There's literally no proof.
No, there's no proof that you can find on YouTube on a very particular YouTube channel.
Is this a this podcast going to end up on your channel?
I guess maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
So I'm Eric. Welcome to my place. This is the podcast Something I Didn't Know About, episode 1. My brother Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff. I have my own podcast. No, I don't actually.
Also,
All right.
If the audio sucks, this will never see the light of day.
Correct. This is potentially going into the void.
Yeah.
We should probably preface this by saying that like we can essentially talk forever about anything. So topic or not, I mean, there shouldn't be too much of a dead, space in between our blabbering. So
Yeah, totally.
my jaw might crack. I've just noticed my jaw cracks half the time when I talk. So
I was kind of waiting for for you to just for there to be a bunch of dead space. Like just following that immediately.
just like 40 whole seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I did write some questions down just in case.
Oh, fantastic.
Can I give you one? Can I shoot
Definitely.
you one? Okay. So yeah, like the sort of not thesis, but like the sort of idea that I wanted to do for
I think it's
like
pronounced
a podcast was
theses.
just like theses,
Sorry, go on.
like the movie Species.
Exactly.
But yeah, the sort of idea that I wanted to do behind like a podcast was just like, I don't know, just like learning things about people and like if we could learn something about you that I didn't know about,
Very
that
cool.
would be kind of like, that's kind of just the end of the day, like the only objective really, which is like pretty easy when you think about it. There's lots to know about lots of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm sure that like given whatever amount of time we've taken to like talk about stuff, there's always more.
For sure.
Okay, so let's jump right in. If you had 1 month left to live, what would be something you couldn't go out without trying once?
That's a good question. I don't know, man. Probably like trying something.
Yeah, like
There's only so many things you can
it
try.
doesn't have to be like
I don't know. I don't think there's any I wouldn't try any drugs or anything like that probably that I haven't already or have not already done.
yeah.
But maybe just going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, like a life experience.
Yeah, travel somewhere I haven't been before. That's probably more important than any sort of activity or something. I don't know.
You wouldn't want to go
more
like
boring
skydiving
now.
over.
What's that?
You wouldn't want to go like skydiving over
Yeah,
somewhere
I
else?
used to think and say things like that before, but now I just don't see the point in anything like that. It's like, even if I was gonna die, it's like, yeah, whatever. Because a million, bajillion people have skydived before, and it's just another thing people do. I'd rather just go see some shit that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so where would you go? Do that?
Let's just pick somewhere old, some old. I'm not too stoked on pyramids or anything like that. They seem cool, but probably rather go see something more kind of
Like
culturally interesting or something. Oh fuck, I don't know. It's a terrible answer.
Yeah, there's nothing culturally interesting about the pyramids.
No. It's just a shape.
They're just like the longest structures made by man to be still standing.
Okay, so my question to you then is, and this is supposed to be about me or you, I don't know, but what if you had 10 seconds to live, and you get to decide what is going to be on your gravestone. Um,
Oh.
and I'm going to ask you this question now, and you have 10 seconds to answer. What is going to be on your gravestone? Go.
Um,
8 seconds.
hesitation kills.
Hesitation kills.
Yeah. I mean,
There'd be
like,
so many people
that's
reading
not
that
what it
just being
really.
like, what?
That's not what it
Like,
really would
is
be.
really how he died? What's the story here?
Yeah. They'd be like, what was he hesitating on, and why did it kill him?
Yeah.
Um. Okay. Yeah. Let me just like think about that for just 1 second.
I mean, it's too late. It's like already set in stone.
Yeah. No, it would be like, it would be something dumb like quotations that would just say, "Well, it's not set in stone."
And then there's like a hyphen at the end,
Yeah.
as if you've been
Yeah.
interrupted.
Exactly. Like, yeah. That's what it
Also,
would be for me.
also that gravestone doesn't have your name on it. It just has like one of those kind of like photorealistic like profiles of you like etched into the stone.
Right.
So
Why doesn't it have my name? What
I don't
tombstone
know.
doesn't have a name on it?
Yeah, that's a weird company. Like 12 years from now when you die.
So would it? Yeah. Like. Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever think about like,
Hmm.
just the materials of the world and how, given it enough time, like, will we? I guess we will run out of like gravestone material, or like, I guess they can be made out of concrete, which is pretty,
I like
plentiful. But
I actually find that interesting is like when will we start like when will it become like publicly known that we're like right about to run out of everything?
yeah,
And
like,
like
because right now it's like, you just drive down the street and you're like, man, there's so many cars, there's so much
yeah,
metal like everywhere.
yeah, how is there still
When
stuff to
when
make
is
the
that
stuff?
gonna stop? Yeah,
I
like, when are we gonna stop making, or stop mining stuff and making these brand new cars and just start actually like repairing or reusing or melting down our old one? It's such a weird thing that we have this much metal and just material. I
I
guess the
think
planet's huge, so whatever.
when I think of like conspiracy theory stuff, I always think like yeah, if like rich people, the people that control everything, if they knew that like we're just really just running out of shit and there's just like another 100 years left and that's why they're just kind of like enjoying life and not really giving too much of a fuck about anything.
Hmm.
Um, it's like yeah, it's because they know everything's like almost run out. Like the panicking
Yeah,
will start.
yeah, I'd believe it.
Who knows?
Like, it's not. I don't like to think that, but it's more than possible.
But I wouldn't be surprised if like we just had just so much shit to make over like the next hundreds of years, and we still have plenty of resources. Um,
Yeah, it's just so weird, like, thinking that, I don't know, the possibility that it could be in our lifetime that we just run out of stuff, and not like everything, but just the size of the population like can't be sustained
do
like
you ever
by
think
any
about
means.
like society kind of ending like in our lifetime, but like hoping it doesn't, like really hard,
Yeah,
like hoping it's just like at least one more generation from now.
yeah, or like just thinking sort of apocalypse style stuff where if power went out, the like just grid was off, no travel of any kind, like grocery stores aren't getting stocked. What the hell do you do?
Well,
like
that
like
pretty much
where do you
happened in like
go?
Texas recently.
True, yeah.
They like they're running out of like I mean power stations weren't supplying power and like grocery stores were just like shut down or like empty and everyone's just kind of like freaking out.
Yeah.
It's like that would be probably like if anything even that could just be the apocalypse is just like not having power, not having food. There doesn't have to be like a big crazy event or a disaster thing. It's just like those
Right.
things running out, like power and food. It's like that's all there needs to be for everyone just to like break down everything to go really fucking sideways really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of the same weirdness where like it could, I don't know, like it's kind of the same vibe I get when I think about like death and stuff. Is I'm like, yeah, it's gonna happen, but like thinking about it isn't really helping me.
Yeah, for
Or
sure.
like,
And
yeah.
there's this weird sort of uh, like it just seems like the situation we're in and like the culture and like society we have, especially just in like North America, it really doesn't seem like it could like end anytime soon. Whereas like you look just like parallel to certain countries right now, and it just seems like so bad. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
sad, but it's like so bad. Like I was reading, I think like 300 women or like young women, like teenage women in like schools and somewhere in like Africa, Libya or something like that, were just like straight up kidnapped by some like militia group, and they're just like
Oh my
gone and they
God.
don't know where they are. It's like
Wow.
so fucked. If that happened anywhere in like Canada, it would be like, you know, major fucking news for like
Yeah.
at
And
least
you'd have like
a couple days.
squadrons of people searching for them and like this
Yeah,
whole
but it
organized.
happens in like another country. And it's like, well, you know, that's third world countries. Well, I don't
It's
know.
kind of the way it
People
is.
don't
Yeah.
even care. It's so sad.
Yeah, man.
Let's
So
take a.
on that note,
Yeah,
which pant leg do you put on first?
pretty sure the left.
Yeah.
How do you take off a shirt?
Uh, yeah, good question. Okay, I start with the. I don't. So, I've been doing it this way for like so long. I still don't think it's the most ergonomic, but it's just the way that I do it. So I basically like, because I always get caught at some point, and then I'm
Yeah, of
kind of
course.
just like a dog with a cone at one part of it at least. But like I basically just I grab my shirt collar like I'm about to hold myself up to like some lockers, like by the front, um, and then I just like kind of pull around and like kind of also like fold myself over because that feels like it helps. And like it's this kind of one fluid motion like that I'm just like and I like lean forward. I don't make that sound, but
You sound
do
like you're
that.
hulking out.
Yeah, just like hulking out. I rip the shirt and then that's how I get it off. No, but
Of
I
course.
like fold over and I kind of try and like just inch it over. I think it's hard to describe like
I'll tell you. I
muscle
feel like
memory.
I
Yeah,
get it kind of over my head, and then with my right arm I grab like the kind of collar of the shirt and just like kind of reef it off my head from there, and my like other arm just goes straight and it just kind of comes off nice and easy.
yeah. What about the hot shirt takeoff where you like start from the base and then you
And kind
pull
of
it up?
turn it inside out.
I've never found that like comfortable
I don't like it
or
turning inside out, I don't think, because you know at some point you're gonna have to return it back inside out again.
exactly.
It's just like another
Yeah.
step, a needless step.
Yeah. But
Uh,
then
mm.
at the same time like shirts some shirts you should turn inside out to preserve the graphic or the print or something on them.
Okay.
You know, same with
No.
socks. If you
Oh
you
yeah.
got to turn socks inside out to wash them because then
Right.
yeah. I don't really know why, but
I
that's what
don't
the
care so much about socks.
manufacturer
They
kind
can
of
come
tells
out
me.
wrong. Inside out, it doesn't matter. Um,
At least unless like the sock is a ball, that's the only problem.
okay, quick question for you. So,
Yeah.
um, if you're counting, like picture right now that you're counting in your head from like
Hmm.
1 to 8. Um,
Okay.
when you're counting in your head, especially if you're like counting things, like just say you just have to count something for like inventory or something. Um,
Yeah.
do you picture visually something in your head as you're counting? Like,
Mm.
I'll tell you how I do it. Maybe that'll help you think about it. But I
Yeah.
basically picture like dots in like dice. So as I'm counting, I count like
Oh.
dot 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 dot, and when I get to like 5, that's like a dice side, and then I move up and I start doing another dot dot dot. But yeah, that's how I count like in my head.
Whoa. I do not have that.
Yeah.
I don't. Let me get something I need to count just so I can like
I mean, it might be one of
see.
those things you'll think about later, and you can't really think on the spot about it. But Yeah, one day I realized that I did that. I'm like, I should ask someone, and like, they don't really either know what I'm talking about or they count with like numbers, like they imagine the numbers like Sesame Street style, like appearing.
Yeah, I think I'm that way
I
because
think I do that
I got
sometimes
like
too.
a bag of googly eyes in front of me and I'm trying to count them, and I
And
do
they
think
just
like
won't
as I'm
stop looking
counting,
at you.
yeah, and looking at everything else too,
Hmm.
but but yeah, they like, I think I almost like see the, but it's weird because it's kind of like a, like my finger or whatever I'm visually doing to count something is like the sort of uh, action of looking at something and counting it is separate to counting in my head. And it's like there's a certain level of focus that I need to take to actually keep the number that I'm counting up in my head and also keep track of where I'm looking and which like thing that relates to. So
Also,
it's
like,
like I think it's more difficult for me.
I find like I
I
count
find.
sometimes with like kind of like a little song in my head. Like, I'm sure everyone does this, but it's like if you count to like 10 or 20 or whatever, you kind of go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, it's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. And it's like
It's
there's
not
a
like
sort of
100%
rhythm to it.
monotone. There's this sort of like rise and fall or like something. I don't
Hmm.
know
There's like a meter to it.
for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like, that'd be interesting to look into if it's like a cultural thing, like because I know that
Right.
different, I don't know, like different cultures are like, I don't know. It's very interesting when you look into like counting and stuff because the world is like a base 10 counting kind of system. And I
Yeah.
think that some cultures are like base whatever and or like 5, I think. Just because like you're holding something while you're counting something, so you want to be able to count on like one hand of fingers. But but yeah, it's very crazy when you realize that like our whole counting system is based on just the arbitrary fact that we have a certain number of digits.
I was also thinking about how when there's like yeah, the 5 and 10 thing makes sense because 10 becomes 100 and so on. Like it's just such an easy sort of like divide of stuff. But like
Mm-hmm.
when there's weird ones like days of the week, like that there's 7 days of the week is just kind of like ugh. It's like it's like when you go to share like a week with someone, it's like 3 and 4, and you're like, oh. And then
Yeah.
like a minute is like 60 seconds. It's divided into that weird like 60 thing where it's like, oh, okay, so like half is 30 and then half of that is 15. It's just this like weird sort of, yeah, I don't know, strange.
Yeah. It is weird. I know, like, I've looked it up some time ago because there is some sort of like reason behind it, but it's not super based
Interesting.
on anything. Yeah, like no, no, no. It's just like it's kind of similar to like feet and inches and stuff, where it just started out as this arbitrary thing,
Mm.
or at least it was like I don't know. I don't think they probably back then thought like, oh, this many vibrations of like a silicon atom counts
Um,
as like a second or something.
One thing I want to get into with is like, okay, so it's like some things I've never thought about for like a really long time, and some I think about just like every so often. But one of them is like, we've probably talked about stuff like this before, but say you're like, for me, it's like watching TV, like, especially when it used to have like a smaller TV or like sitting on the couch for like way too long. And all of a sudden it
Mm.
seems like the distance between you and the TV is like 20 feet and like everything's sort of
Yeah,
stretched out into a tunnel. And if you like look at your
yeah.
hands or your body after that, you're like, whoa, everything's like really sort of, I don't know how to explain it. Because honestly, it hasn't happened in like a really long time, but it feels like it used to
Hmm.
happen all the time when I was a kid. But it's like that
Yeah,
weird
I
sort
still
of
get that sometimes.
stretching of like your vision or something. And there's a lot
I
of
get
other
that
things like
when
that.
I talk to people. Like people's faces have that effect on me. If I start like talking to someone and looking at them too
Mm.
long, it happens. And I don't know why, and it's really distracting because it's always when they're talking to me and I'm listening and I'm just nodding along, and I can't stop thinking about how weird their head looks, because
Right.
it's like, for whatever reason, their shoulders, it's like a Beetlejuice kind of thing where their shoulders are normal and their head is like really far away, and
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah, very
holy
similar
shit, their head
thing.
is small. Yeah,
Or it's like
but
when you
yeah,
all
it
of a
is.
sudden like become aware of things that are like they're so normal because you're always just used to your own life and the way you see and do things, but all of a sudden you're like, it's really fucking weird that there's like a sun in the sky and that thing is like you start like, maybe that's too like large of a scope of a thing, but even just like simple stuff like you like
Or
realize
just
that
like
there's
looking
like,
at ears,
what's that?
like just anything, like looking at ears or
Sure. Or
anything
like
that's really,
eyebrows.
yeah, oh man.
All of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, we all have eyebrows. Like there's
And
almost
they're
no point to
so
them, and
weird.
they're really weird.
Yeah.
Oh, or like car
Yeah, no.
antennas.
Yeah. Or actually, when you start to notice, like television, not television, like electricity lines and poles,
Oh yeah.
and when you start to realize that like every single house that you see has a tether to one, and that's the only reason the house has power, is because
Here's
it's got this little.
here's something that'll trip you out. Is I
Mm,
went to Fort McMurray like within the year, and
mhm.
they don't have like telephone poles going to like all the houses.
And
Um,
do they have like underground?
it's like underground.
Yeah, that's so
So all of a
weird.
sudden you're like, wait, what? You just notice that there's like not anything. It's like, wait,
Yeah,
what?
there's
It
nothing
just
on the street.
so strange. But yeah, I mean
It
that's
feels so
probably
weird.
like a bunch of places are like that. But I've never grew up in an area like that, so it just seems bizarre.
Yeah, it's, and you don't really, same with like the ear thing or the sun. You don't really notice it until it's not there. And like at Slater Place, I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever. Um, uh, like that neighborhood didn't have any telephone lines or anything or phone poles. It was just, there was some on a street that led up to it, but that whole neighborhood is just completely, there's light, like lamps, lampposts,
Yeah.
but other than that, it's very barren and it feels weird.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Don't worry, I don't
what?
think anyone's gonna like Shia LaBeouf our location.
I don't know. I don't know. You never know. People will be crazy. Um, I feel like I had some sort of. Oh, also,
Hmm.
sorry. The last thing I wanted to bring up is: did you ever find, or have you found, when you're watching a TV and you start to really fix your eyes on one part of the TV, or just kind of stare at it a long time? I found the surrounding room starts to get kind of dimmer and more like red. It kind
Okay.
of,
Yeah,
the
you.
rest of the room starts to kind of fade away a little bit.
I used to stare at things long enough, and like the edges of everything would sort of white out for me.
Yeah.
That's another thing I haven't thought about in a really long time.
Yeah, it's
I
really fascinating. I'm sure
yeah,
there's some reason behind it.
I used to
But, and
think
I
that.
also love how
Oh,
like none of
I got
that
another
stuff
one too.
scares you when you're a kid, you know? When like
Say that again.
weird stuff happens to your vision. Like none of that scares you when you're a kid, like it should. You just kind of go like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." And like you don't really think about it like in terms of how just unsettling certain things could
Well, I've
be
read so many Reddit
to
posts
your
about
health.
like people who like those eye floater things that you get.
Yeah.
Like how many people had all these like ideas about what they were as a kid, but yeah, you never like can't sleep because of it. It's just like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you don't even
exactly.
like
Because what
bring
are
it
you
up
gonna
to
do
your
about it?
parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember sitting down in like high school at some point with some friends of mine that I wasn't super close with, but uh they just kind of like one of them just said, "Oh yeah, like I've got these things in my eyes when I look at the sky or something." And they're kind of, and I described the same thing, and I was like, "Oh yeah, those are eye floaters." And they're like, "What? Other people have the?" And I was like, "Yeah, like," and but it's true. Like before you know that other people experience stuff, you feel so isolated with
Oh yeah.
all these ailments and things.
Yeah. So two things I don't want to forget. One of them is basically gonna forget as I'm saying it. The second one that I was remembering was like, okay, so just remind me to come back to both of these, even if we don't get into it right now. But one is when your eyes are closed, and like for me, if I like say meditate, or if I'm like falling asleep, or just have my eyes closed for a while, I sort of have like weird blotchy kind of things like moving around and stuff.
Mm,
So I'll tell you more
okay,
about
yeah.
that in a second. But the first thing I was thinking was I can like make a sound in my like ears that I don't even necessarily know how I do it, but it has something to do with kind of like flexing the like muscles in my ear canal or something.
I think I know what that is. Yeah.
But it sounds like if you like put your ear up to a shell, and it's that kind of like almost like a hum or kind of like a whooshing kind of sound.
Is it like a rumbling at all?
Kind of like a rumbling like kind of thing.
If you right now close your eyes like really tight,
Yeah.
do you hear it at all?
No, but maybe because I'm just so like I do it a certain way, so I don't know.
I think so. From what I've heard, because I've googled it, what it is your, or at least in some cases, like your basically your jaw muscle, and like muscles around
That
that are
sounds like
close
it
to
could
your
be that.
ear.
Yeah.
When you tense them up, they actually like shake a little bit, like micro
Interesting.
shakes. And when the muscles shake, it actually vibrates the little hairs in your ear canal, and it like generates
Ah.
sound.
No, no lie.
Yeah.
I've like tried to do that while like trying to move objects with my like mind slash hand before, just in case that was like the secret.
Yeah.
But no.
I I've got a similar thing where I like if I just really tense up my neck or something, I'm like, I feel like that's how I would move stuff. Like it feels a certain way and you just think,
Or,
if I could do that, that's how I would do it.
or like if you're flying in a dream, there is this sort of like unable to describe way of like flying that you know in the dream but not like outside of it.
The technique, the hidden
Yeah.
spell.
Actually, not that dreams are interesting ever, but I was dreaming last night. I must have been flying around some like beach or something. I was pretty high up, and then I was kind of like slowly sort of like falling, and kind of like flying at
Oh.
like a downward angle, and I was kind of like getting closer and closer to like this beach, and I'm like, am I gonna like break my legs? Because I'm like falling pretty hard here. Like I should die if I hit the ground. But I just kind of like landed and it was kind of rough. But yeah. But
Damn.
I became aware that I wasn't really flying up in any sense. It was just sort of like slowly gliding down. Yeah. Anyway.
Huh. That's so weird.
It,
Um
yeah. Go on.
okay, I've got another question for you. You ready for it?
Yes.
Okay. So, uh have you got like a song that you used to really love but you heard it too many times and now it kind of sucks to you? Not sucks, but like it's just not good anymore.
There's like CDs that I used to listen to way too often, and now if I like think of those songs, I like quote unquote want to be sick. Like I can't.
Yeah.
There's a few like that probably.
What,
I had a Blink
any off the top of
182
your head?
CD,
Oh,
and I don't know what it's called, but it's like it's pretty hard to listen to.
yeah.
Like
I can't believe I saw them live.
really,
That's so weird.
wow.
Yeah,
While they were still
a couple of
alive.
years ago. Yeah, I mean, I hope they're still alive.
I know, I know.
Okay. On the same note,
Mm.
have you got like I know that it's kind of a wide range of stuff, but like, is there a song that you can think of off the top of your head that really reminds you vividly of like either the first time you heard it or like a certain memory like very closely tied with that song?
I think those are only mostly gonna be in like movies I've seen, which I know is sort of a cop out because it's like attached to a movie, attached to like a visual thing. Um,
Yeah.
I have a few songs. I was just thinking about, this might not be the answer to your question, but I was when I watched the movie Donnie Darko for the first time, that was
Mm-hmm.
one of those movies for me. Like when I watched it, it was like someone like knocked me like with something. Like I was just blown away at the time. Like it really personally for me it was like a game changing movie, you know. So other movies
Yeah,
like that are Fight Club and I don't know, some like uh, Danny
like
Boyle
The
movie or
Matrix.
whatever the fuck. Sure, Train Spotting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but when watching Donnie Darko, there's like I think there's like a In Excess song that plays kind of in like one of the like opening montages. Some 80s
Mm.
song I previously wouldn't have given a shit about or didn't even like know that it was like a song. And then
Mm-hmm.
one day I was like listening to the radio at like Little Caesars Pizza, my like first job. And I was like working alone one night, I think, and that song came on the radio, and I was like,
Oh,
yes, and I like cranked it, and I was so stoked to hear that song because for me it just like it was like because it was part of that movie, and that was like one of my favorite movies of all time. So, and
yeah, and
that
especially
song
when
is
it's
called
such a.
like I don't know. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, no, you go ahead.
It's like I can't even think of the name of that song, but anyone that vaguely knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. So,
Mm. I should look it up.
also
Um,
music like I used to deliver pizza for another pizza related job, and
mhm.
there's so many songs that I used to listen to, or like kind of bands I sort of discovered like for myself, like driving around for like 4 years, and like a lot of those
Right.
songs like I associate with like pizza delivery like music because it was like yeah it was I don't know like vaguely nostalgic times of just driving around by myself, dark streets in the middle of nowhere, like listening to like Modest Mouse or something cool. So
Yeah, yeah. I feel like yeah, it's not even necessarily like a specific memory. Sometimes it can just be like a time period of your life where you
yeah,
kind of listen to that a lot.
for sure.
Yeah.
How about nostalgia? Like, do you get? Uh, I don't really get too like depressed a lot of the time. Every now and then I'll just get kind of like down, but like sometimes I get
Mm.
like painfully nostalgic for like just I don't know. Even just it's really easy with like video games and like sort of music and sometimes movies, but like maybe it's video games for me the most. But if I think about some like N64 titles, I just get like crazy nostalgic, like almost like borderline sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Like
We are not going to let this podcast evolve into talking about Zelda for an hour.
no, please no. We could. We totally could.
We've done it too
We
many
just
times, is what I'm
we just
saying.
shoot the shit about every
No.
little detail of several games. Um, yeah, like certain nostalgia around. Oh yeah, I guess like I'm looking at my bookshelf right now. I feel like I have a good amount of nostalgia for certain books. Like yeah, so Scott Pilgrim, for
Hmm.
example, is one where reading it and watching it, like the movie and the book, kind of make me sad in a weird way
Really?
because yeah, like I don't know, something about um because like when I read that book, that series, and when we watched the movie, I was like 13 or something, maybe
Oh
like
yeah.
10, like 12 or whatever, and it was really like not formative, but I was
It
just
was like
like,
just like
man,
somehow like important to you.
yeah, like it really meant a lot to me, and I kind of wish that I could like reread it for the first time, I guess. And also, it's kind of this whole thing where like it maybe it's sort of sad to me because when I first read it, I was like, oh, this is such a cool story. Wish I could get a girlfriend. Stuff like that. Um, if only it were that easy. And then growing up and being like, oh man, yeah, Scott's such a loser. He's just hanging out, not really doing anything with his life. And then, the past couple years, I was thinking, man, I I'm Scott
I
right
am
now.
Scott.
Like yeah, and it was such a hard blow to realize that, like, I don't still feel like that. Um, I still sort of feel like that, but I don't often feel like a Scott. But yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that's part of why I don't really really yeah, why it kind of makes me sad. But I really love it, and I love I guess I don't know. I think it's because I just miss the time around when I read it and when I watched it,
Right.
and I missed like that kind of simpler life, I guess, of like youth and all that.
I remember when.
And
Sorry, I didn't
yeah,
mean to cut you off.
that's good.
When we saw that movie, I think there was like a few of us, and we were like driving back from the movie, and I think we were in someone's like really small car, and I was just
Mm.
like so stoked after seeing it, like the sort of opening like title music where it's like and
Yeah,
it's just pretty much just there's no lyrics or anything, it's just like the credits. That got me so
yeah,
stoked where I was just like humming that for like days, and like after seeing the movie that was just like driving in my head. I had such like just like a pumped up like vibe after seeing that movie.
yeah. That like intro too is, I don't know. Like I also remember when I watched it in the theater for the first time, and I think like this kid who was a friend of a friend was sitting like two seats over from me, and he wanted to like be my friend and like chat with me during this movie, and I was just like, get the hell away from me, dude. Like I just want to watch this movie I've been waiting like a while for. And uh and he literally inched his way over the seats to be right next to me, and I was so not game, but it was too late. Um but yeah, I just remember like sitting and watching the intro in the first few minutes, and then that like just candy euphoria ecstasy intro, and yeah, like with the theater speaker setup and everything, it was just like it was like the closest thing to like some sort of trip I feel like I've ever had. It was
That's
just
awesome.
so like a holy shit, this is like, yeah, like it, especially the first time watching that, because I don't think any trailers really had that like as part of it at all. So
Yeah.
like watching it for the first time was just like, holy shit, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen for some reason.
I also love the video game so much. I
Yeah,
played it a lot. um
yeah.
um I remember when I saw the movie Annihilation in theaters,
Mm.
that
Mm-hmm.
scene near the end where it's becoming that weird like psychedelic egg thing,
Mm-hmm.
starting around that time
Explodes.
and becoming like the weird humanoid shape, like that
Yeah,
scene was for me like one of the most like intense movie experiences of my life. Totally sober, but
yeah,
felt like I was on like all the drugs, just like being blown away every second that was passing, and the soundtrack's just like and it's just perfect in that moment. It's just such an experience.
yeah.
Like I love that shit.
Totally. I found yeah, like watching that at your place, so good, but I
Oh yeah.
do wish that I watched it in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like the timing of things, like you can't, I don't know, like sometimes like some of my favorite movies I've just seen at like someone's house, even if it was just like the first time I've seen it. um
Yeah.
that was like, didn't matter where I saw it, it was just like it's like the movie a lot of the time more than anything. But
Yeah. I what there's a movie. Oh yeah, I think I remember seeing Dunkirk
mm,
in theater, and I might have gone by myself, but I just remember there's a scene where the planes are dive bombing the beaches, and the sound of it just, yeah, like
I remember you
similar.
telling me
Just
about that. Actually, I was stoked to see that movie because of how
really,
you were telling me. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
wow, yeah, no, it really like shook me. Yeah,
You still haven't seen 1917, have you?
no, I haven't.
That
Yeah,
movie, I mean, I like that better than Dunkirk. Um,
I can see why. I've like sort of spoiled myself because when YouTube just does its recommending thing, and you're like,
for
yeah, sure,
sure.
I'll watch the last like couple minutes of this movie.
I think I've seen the entirety of the movie Sling Blade recently, just because of all the clips I've like looked up.
Wait, which movie?
So Sling Blade is like Billy Bob Thornton playing this like southern kind of guy that just gets out of like jail after like 20 or more years, like 40 years, but he's got like a
Oh,
really distinct way of talking. And
that's cool.
yeah, it's definitely worth like don't spoil yourself on that movie. I wish I didn't watch so much of it. It seems like a good movie to watch, but
Hmm.
yeah, anyway. um
What? Oh yeah, I still haven't seen Good Will Hunting. I've seen just about every scene from that movie,
it's not your fault.
but I still haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
What's okay?
Whoosh.
Like let's do a recommend, because I know that there's like so many movies that I haven't seen yet that you probably want me to, and I'm sure there's at least one movie I can think of that you
Okay,
haven't seen yet
now
that
just
you
for the
really
sake
have
of
to.
timing, because I know that Mom is probably gonna interrupt us in a second because she's
Oh, okay, yeah.
coming back. So um
Mhm.
but yeah, so how about this? A one movie that you haven't seen that I like highly, highly recommend you to watch, kind of thing,
Yeah,
and vice versa, that kind of thing.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
um, if you think of one first, just interrupt me, but I'm just gonna think on that.
I'm also gonna take a second because I'm trying to think of things you haven't seen, and don't think there's many. Have you seen The Lighthouse yet?
Yeah, I think we watched it together, or at the very least, I watched it by myself.
Yeah, because I think that I watched it with Josh and Jess, and I remember you watching it
Yep, I for sure watched that.
afterwards.
I
Okay.
look, I didn't hate that movie. It's just it wasn't kind of for me as much as some movies are.
Yeah. Have you seen Joker yet?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Okay. Okay. Oh man, yeah. You like everyone watches so many more movies than me. I have like nothing
There's so many like
on
shows
people.
and movies that I like wish you had seen just so I could discuss it with you.
Yeah.
Let me just I'm just trying to think of something I've seen in the last like so many months that was actually really good. It's hard to like force one out, but um
Hmm.
it's definitely not Waterworld, although I have seen that recently.
Yeah, we talked about that, right? Yeah.
Well, I was just talking with you, I think, yesterday about it, or the day before.
Yeah.
Um, okay, one movie. Okay, just because I'm thinking of it off the top of my head, and I've kind of thought about it on and off. It's it's called Upstream Color, I think.
Hmm.
That's a movie I recommend to you, sir.
Okay.
And
Upstream Color.
yeah, it's like a really, it's a weird story with like sort of minimal, like kind of dialogue and narration, but very well shot and like really like borderline science fiction kind of ideas and this like interesting little kind of drama thing that I want to watch again and decide whether or not it's actually dog shit or really good.
Okay. Ooh, I know one. This one you've never seen before.
Okay.
The movie is Mothman Prophecies.
What are you talking about? You're
Yeah,
just,
you
just messing with me.
what?
I said you're
Have,
just messing with me.
have you seen that movie?
Yes. Are you
No,
kidding?
okay, actually for
You're 100% joking.
yeah.
I'm like,
Um
there's definitely more than 10 times I've like talked about this movie with you before you'd seen it, telling you to see it.
Yeah, like it took you like years to get me to watch it for no reason.
You got me.
Okay. Have you seen because like I only I only watched it because it was on Netflix and I was like, if I don't watch it now I never will. But have you seen the movie Citizen Kane? Like starring, written by Orson Welles?
No.
You should really watch that movie.
Okay. I don't know that I will, but I'll try.
You should though. It's like it's known as one of the like greatest movies of all time.
So is like Gone with the Wind, but do you want to watch that? I'm
I
sorry.
might not watch that, but I think like at least I feel like the weirdest thing about like if you just kind of take Citizen Kane as like a modern movie that just looks old.
Yeah.
It's
no,
like
I
kind of more
shit on it
palatable because really
like
the writing is pretty damn modern.
I can
like,
watch some
and
pretty
even
old
the themes
stuff
and stuff.
and still like it.
Yeah. Just the themes are like really interesting where it's just like I don't know, people like yeah, and the narrative structure. Anyway, it's really wonderful.
Okay, that's fair. I sense that the end is nigh, so we want to end this amicably.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
We did a nice 46 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's really solid. Okay, actually, can we end on one last short question?
Potentially, try.
Okay, describe everyone in our immediate family with one word each.
I thought your question was going to be describe everyone in our immediate family. Like, okay.
Yeah.
One word each?
Yeah, one word each.
Okay.
So let's start with mom and dad.
Okay. Both of them?
Well, like independently.
How about I'm just gonna say like association words because I'll never be able to describe people.
Okay,
Mom is free, Dad is gold, Josh is wood, Eric is fuck. I don't know. I'm totally not like in the mindset to answer these things.
Oh, that's totally fine. Yeah, let's do like association. Dad is glasses. Mom is eclectic.
Mom, I think will be at the door in a second, so I'm gonna go, bro.
Okay, sounds good. I love you, man.
I love you
for
too.
Listening,
and thanks
everybody,
for doing
and
this,
anybody.
for sure. And
yeah, we should do this again some other time.
I'll be very stoked to see how this turns out, and maybe this will be the first of many. So.
Yeah, let's hope.
Okay.
Okay, I love you, Jeff.
I love you too, and we'll
I'll
talk
to you
soon.
soon.
And I'm gonna turn it off in 3, 2, 1, off.
All right, so thanks for listening, everybody. That was episode 1 of Something I Didn't Know About. This one was called Something I Didn't Know About Jeff, my brother Jeff. So next time around, we will have a different guest or the same guest, who knows. If you have any suggestions on things I should ask the next person or just ways to improve, I would appreciate it. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.